All right, guys, here we go. Game 1 between Incredible Miracle and Dream Team Gaming. I was distracted by the Dream Team Gaming's character name yet again right now. On the top right part of the map, in the pink from Dream Team Gaming, it is Mad Cow, otherwise known as TristaN Pro S, apparently. And in the bottom left, in the red, our ProDOS player from Incredible Miracle. People say he's got a lot of talent. Will he show it today? It is YongHwa.
That's right, YongHwa. So Dream Team Gaming is kind of an interesting team. They were actually started, and this was told to us by our ops manager, to actually participate in Team Arena Challenge. Now, of course, they participated in the last season, but it was a lot of Korean pro players that were either in between teams or hadn't found a team quite yet, and they banded together to compete in our team league. So
interesting.
Kind of a cool little tidbit of information there. They, of course, did step up on the back of Netty and Otter in the last round, and defeated AT and Type pretty well there. We're going to see if they have a response now for Incredible Miracle, who, as we know, can field essentially the strongest roster of StarCraft players in the world. It's just whether they choose to or not.
Now, the big problem here is that for Dream Team Gaming, I think, is that Otter actually got 3 of their wins last round, and he has not remained on the team. He's actually gone.
You are actually correct.
Yep.
In fact, in their lineup, a couple of the people who took wins were not there as well. It's a very different lineup from what we saw from Week 1. So, that being said, though, and looks like Mad Cow is going to go ahead and pool first. No real surprise. It is PVC on Daybreak, of course. And I mean, I'm interested to see what comes out of Dream Team Gaming. Certainly hope we see a not an all kill. We saw one yesterday, and that was a little disappointing, I think, to a lot of fans. We had a lot of people tuned in for that event.
Look at that. Enough harassment from Mad Cow that YongHwa actually put down his Forge first.
Oh, wow.
Does get the hatchery. Oh, he's actually going to block the hatchery, too. Interesting. Wow, Mad Cow indeed is mad. There is a pylon at that expansion, but Mad Cow just going all out here.
Yeah, good number of probes pulled off the line for YongHwa as well. And it looks like he is slowly working down this hatchery, so we'll force it to be canceled, and we'll see if he can get in there and stop before the evolution chamber gets put down. The Forge is now done. There's enough resources to put down a photon cannon. Indeed, one will get thrown down. That hatchery canceled, and not going to see that evolution chamber put down right afterwards.
Nope, not yet. Mad Cow, nope, he actually can't do it. Is he doing it again? Oh, he gets another hatchery down. What?
Oh, that's funny.
I can't believe this, and this is really hurting YongHwa. I mean, yeah, Mad Cow's not getting his hatchery down either. He's going to very soon now, but YongHwa can't take his Nexus. He's had to make a gateway. He's had to make everything on the low ground. Things very, very awkward right now for YongHwa. He is going to be able to force a cancel now on this hatchery. I believe that will DPS it down eventually, or especially once the second cannon finishes. But an awkward start for our ProDOS player this game.
That's right. So photon cannon's going to work on the hatchery. It will go down. As we can see back on Mad Cow's side of things, his hatchery's now finally down. Looks like he's sending out a drone to head over to the third. This probe could run back, and it looks like it will. We'll see if it gets outside of the view of Mad Cow.
Oh, it's going to get there in time, too. Oh, no, it doesn't get there in time. Wow.
Oh, because he canceled and had the resources available. So
smart move by Mad Cow. Wow. Mad Cow ending up having all 3 of his hatcheries up before YongHwa even starts his Nexus. That is going to be pretty tough for YongHwa.
We've had a pretty big delay on this game is what it's amounted to. I mean, things are starting to progress a little bit more normally now. Of course, YongHwa is going to be working on a lot smaller economy than he would like at this stage of the game, as he would have his Nexus finished and chrono boosting out probes if all went according to plan. As it stands now, though, +1 weapons is coming up and being chrono boosted, and he's following this up, of course, with Warp Gate technology.
Yeah, I really am curious about what YongHwa is going to try to do. I would have to imagine it's probably going to be some sort of gateway timing at this point, unless he wants to go for like a later Stargate. Because, even though Mad Cow's hatcheries were delayed, they were nowhere near as delayed as the second Nexus for YongHwa was. So anything he tries to do at this point is going to come at a later timing than it would normally in your typical ProDOS versus Zerg game, right? And he's going to need to take that into consideration if he wants to do any sort of timing push, in that he's going to need to be careful that his timing doesn't turn into an anti-timing.
That's right. So now Zerglings are starting to go to work on the destructible debris. WR2. They will be chased off by the Stalker. So let's go ahead and see what YongHwa's going to do in response now. It's weird because I look down at the timer and I think, wow, no more gas coming up. But, of course, that's a reflection of what had happened earlier on in this game. So gateways number 2, 3, and apparently 4 are about ready to pop up, as there's 150 in gateway number 4. So 4 gate plus 1. Pressure probably going to be put on here. Nothing out of the ordinary, though, from YongHwa.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be too bad, too, because as we can see, MadCow now just getting his first 3 gases here. I wonder if he's planning on going Muta out of this. We'll have to kind of wait and see. He hasn't put down an Evo Chamber or a Roach Warren just yet, as far as I know, and it would be risky not to, even with this big advantage that he does have in the game. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's Roach Warren, the Evo Chamber. I was going to say it was going to surprise me if he waited a little bit longer than that. But, you know, in the game that we just took a look at in Build Order Breakdown, we saw Monster actually go for a similar opening, obviously to more normal timing because there wasn't any silliness at the start of the game. But then he threw down a Spire when he decided that he could do damage with those Mutalisks. And I would say in this situation, Spire wouldn't be a bad idea because YongHwa obviously is going to be a little bit down on units, and he's probably not going to have the Stalker count, certainly not going to have the Templar that you would want to have to defend against Mutas.
And looks like +1 weapons is finished, so Zealot sneaks a couple more kills than you would normally think. The Stalker, though, is going to have to run away. Oh, gets trapped by a lot of Zerglings. Does go down, but at the same time, our first warping of Zealots is making its way in. And the first few Roaches are coming up now, and honestly, there's not that many workers on the field right now for MadCow, so this is going to significantly set back his economy just to be able to deflect this +1 attack.
I really, really like that YongHwa's doing this. This is exactly what you need to do, causing the cancel on those creep tumors and possibly getting in there. Oh, if he would have gotten in a little bit earlier, he could have maybe killed off a queen or something like that. As it is, it doesn't look like he's going to do much damage with these Zealots, but the principles are sound. I think, in theory, this was a pretty good idea, but he got distracted a little bit by the Zerglings and wasn't quite able to get in enough to do some damage with those Zealots.
And MadCow's done a good job of not overreacting. 4 more Roaches just to make sure there wasn't a big follow-up to this, but then does go right back over to drones, and in fact, we can see his economy starting to rocket back up there. So Lair Tech's done for him. He's got +1 Carapace and has Roach speed coming up as well. Their Zergling speed just now finishing. YongHwa, on the other hand, going over to pretty predictable stuff. Lots of sentries up. He had an excess of gas because he decided to do a warping of Zealots down here more than anything else. And looks like we do have +1 armor along with the Twilight Council coming out now.
Yep, looks like it could just be some sort of, well, I mean, it's going to be gateways, but the other thing is, but the other part of that as well is that I'm actually distracted by something else.
Oh, no, apparently we were handed a list of players at the beginning of this. Basically, what they do is they tell us who the rosters are for each team, and they said the starter was MadCow. Apparently, it really is TristaN. So, there you go.
All right, well, whatever. I'm just going to keep calling him MadCow because I think it's funny. MadCow attacking that pylon right now. And he's also getting his Infestation Pit as well. So going into a fairly normal game. Oh, nice force fields blocking in some of those Zerglings.
Yeah, well done.
He'll make them pay for killing that pylon. Well, not all of them. Oh, he will make all of them pay.
Yeah, no kidding.
They will all pay.
That's a slaughter.
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, taking a look at things now. TristaN, as it does say there, did finish up that Infestation Pit, as you mentioned, researching pathogen glands now, going over to a macro hatch. So things are looking very normal out of him, especially what Zerg players have been doing recently, just sitting on defensive units and going up to infestors very quickly. Could switch over to Lair Tech, or I'm sorry, not Lair Tech, Hive Tech very early on as well.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of deciding right now, you know, just how much he wants to do with these Roaches and Lings. It looks like he's actually already made the decision to just play a little bit more defensive and just get that 4th base up and go for that later game tech. Again, you know, he's consistently ahead of his opponent in this game. You know, he's about, if we talk about it in time, I would say it's probably about 3 minutes ahead per se. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that all pans out. YongHwa, though, he does have the ability to maybe hit a certain timing, but it's going to be tough. I got to say, it's going to be a little bit difficult for YongHwa to really make this work. Oh, and there we go. When behind, get Dark Shrine.
There it is. Dark Shrine is indeed coming up, and sorry, give me 2 seconds, folks, here, because this is indeed TristaN. So there we go. Things all figured out.
He's MadCow to me.
Just everyone, direct your rage at @FFMirhi on Twitter. He is at FFMIRHI. He is the one provided us the player list, so please yell at him as appropriate. So good job, Frank. Anyway, so fourth base now up for TristaN, and he can start saturating that pretty quickly. In fact, he's sitting on 73 workers, which is a fair amount, adding in those infestors as well. So now we see back on YongHwa's side of things, double gateways being added over towards a third in a very nice spot, making sure that he's going to block a lot of Zergling run-bys, even has a photon cannon behind that as well. So his building positioning has actually been very, very good in this game.
Yeah. You know, I don't even see a Mad Cow on Dream Team Gaming's roster, or a TristaN for that matter. So it's another mysterious player. Otter came and saved them last time and then vanished mysteriously into the abyss of battle.net, so maybe TristaN will be doing the same this time.
Well,
who knows?
This is a fair amount of forces. He does get a couple of force fields out of his opponent. Of course, closes off that attack path. He's going to try and test the third here, but he won't be able to attack in two places at once, and that's pretty critical right now for our Zerg player, as he really wants to be able to split those Protoss forces up.
Well, here he goes. Nice force fields. Wow, those are some of the most beautiful force fields I've ever seen by YongHwa.
Oh my
God. Look at that. That is just
that's
perfect.
Gross.
That's like almost pixel perfect spacing there.
That's unbelievable. YongHwa, well done. So, Spire coming up now along with Hive Tech, so we will be able to move into that Broodlord stage pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Spire Tech coming up a little bit later than would be perfect, but still not going to be the biggest deal in the world. However, TristaN is saving up quite a bit of resources and needs to find a way to start, sacking a little bit of supply and trading. Oh, and he is going to get an Immortal, so that's actually a pretty good trade.
Nice. The other Zerglings just running circles around it, taunting it. It's a hard life for that Immortal.
That's right.
Yeah, the Spire is a little bit late for TristaN. He probably should have gotten that a little bit sooner. Normally you want to be able to start the Greater Spire right when the Hive finishes in a lot of cases, and then when your Greater Spire is about halfway done, you start making Corruptors a lot of times, and then shed any additional supply that you want to shed before your Broodlords come out. But as it is, he still has a very strong Roach, Ling, Infestor army. And look at that. That is a lot of DTs. Oh, and they're going for the Hive before the Spire finishes. Oh, man, if he doesn't get to start that Greater Spire, that is huge.
And that Hive is down to 600, 400, 300. The
so
DPS
low.
is so high.
Oh,
my God. Holds on with just 129 hit points. Wow.
Wow, that was about as close as you could take it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like this. The other DTs are going to get cleaned up as well, but not before sneaking a few kills. 14 workers killed now to 4. In fact, economic advantage does go to YongHwa, who may be taking his fourth base here in just a bit.
Yep, all in all, though, that was a lot of resources used on those DTs that didn't really gain him a whole lot in exchange. So that's going to be something that he's going to kind of need to deal with as he progresses farther in this game as well. More DTs coming in to finish off the Hive. Can they do it? The Hive has 266 hit points.
Oh, he's trying to go after the Spore Crawler
instead.
And looks like he is going to get another transfusion, hits the Hive to try and buy some time. I don't think it's going to buy enough, and there goes Hive. Greater Spire was already coming up, though, so it will be able to finish, but still, that is a huge setback to TristaN.
Well, it's going to prevent him from getting the upgrades, but the really important thing in this case was that he was able to get the Greater Spire started. And here comes YongHwa attacking now at that fourth base location.
That's right, and he's going to start punching through a lot of the Spine Crawler wall pretty effectively. Hasn't taken too many losses, yet not the best unit position, though only a few of his units were attacking at once. Oh, he does get some stuff locked down by Infestors, but once again, you're right, just unbelievable force field control. He sequesters off so many of those units, being able to pick off a lot of Roaches there. He has freed up some supply for his opponent, though, who is starting to go over to a lot of Corruptors and eventually Broodlords here in a second. We'll see if that's able to make a difference, but so far, YongHwa has been doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, you have to kind of wonder, though. I mean, it looks like he's going to be able to kill off this fourth base, possibly, depending on the reinforcements, but you have to wonder what would have happened if YongHwa would have went for Templar rather than Dark Templar and been able to storm, feedback Infestors and things like that. He's still doing some damage with these DTs, but he's really going to need to do a lot more.
I think he's doing just fine, though, man. I mean, he's up now by 70 supply, give or take. Really no units coming up, unfortunately, for TristaN. He's about to lose his Greater Spire. He's about to lose the spawning pool at the exact same time, and as soon as those go down, his tech is officially reset, and what can he do from here?
Well, it's not going to be any Broodlords because he doesn't really have the ability to make those. YongHwa is still finishing off a lot of those Spine Crawlers at that fourth base location now. 100 supply ahead. GG. And IM.YongHwa takes game 1.
There we have it. So Incredible Miracle jumping off to a 1-0 start there in this best of 9. Very good start for them.